the Shea Couleé tweet that changed everything. Hey everybody, welcome to A Pop of Culture. I'm your host, Esoteric and Facetious, and this is Pop of Culture, which is my video essay podcast where I speak on pop culture, social justice, and human experience from a Black, bisexual, millennial, Gen Z perspective. In today's video, we're going to be discussing the Shea Couleé tweet that changed everything. Before I get into Shea Couleé's tweet and my feelings on that tweet, I want to acknowledge that Shea Couleé is a Black queen, and when it comes to how Black queens are treated on Drag Race, Black queens often get more hate than their white counterparts. Black queens, even if they slay on the show and off the show, they often don't get the same love that non-Black queens get. So I just want to acknowledge that before I go into this video where I critique Shea in this tweet. I don't want anyone to send hate to Shea. I love Shea for her amazing drag. Even though I'm critiquing her, I want to make it clear I'm aware of the fact that Black queens get a lot of hate, and I don't endorse that. We need to send love and respect to our Black queens because they don't only have to deal with being on Drag Race and being public figures, but also the racism that comes with that. Now let's get into the tweet. On July 11th, 2022 at 9 p.m., world famous drag queen, winner of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars 5, and at the time, current contestant on RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars 7, Shea Couleé tweeted out, "It blows my mind how some queens have the audacity to get on camera and try to read legends for likes. Listen, Mary. Just because you slapped on a $39.99 synthetic lace front with an AliExpress knockoff dress does not make you qualified to comment on legends. Have a seat, babes." Now, before I get into this video, before I speak about my feelings on this tweet, I want to say some of y'all are just going to take this as shade, drag queen shade, and not make it out to be a big deal. So if you're someone who sees this just as shade, queen being shady, that's all you want to make of it, and you don't think it's a big deal, that's your opinion, that's your viewpoint. So if that's how you feel, then that's how you feel. But I do feel this tweet was problematic, and I'm going to speak about why I feel it was problematic. So if you want to see my take on why I feel this tweet was problematic, then let's get into it. One thing I want to say that does annoy me is I definitely feel people pick and choose. Sometimes it's just drag's just a kiki if certain queens say things, but then if other queens say things, they're taken seriously. So I feel Drag Race fans need to make a decision. Either what these drag queens say on their Twitter is meant to be taken as a character making jokes as a character and not as a real person, or either what they're saying should be taken seriously as them as their own person saying things, because I feel like some queens get away with saying problematic stuff because, oh, it's just a drag queen saying a joke, whereas other queens are held accountable for stuff they're saying. So which one is it? We need to make up our minds. The tweet appears to have been made to call out content creators who are reviewing and critiquing Shea and other All-Stars 7 contestants during the season. The tweet did not sit right with me or many other fans. The tweet rubbed me the wrong way for several reasons. Shea tried to invalidate the opinions of her critics because they appear in videos wearing more affordable items, as if they need to don the most chic designer outfits and expensive lace fronts to critique contestants on a reality TV show. Or to Shea Couleé, reality TV is for general audiences. Someone doesn't need a degree and voice to have an opinion on the contestants of American Idol. Someone doesn't need to be a chef to have an opinion on shows on the Food Network. It's TV. It's supposed to engage the viewer so they continue to watch so the show stays on the air. Someone doesn't need to figure arbitrary standards to critique you. Maybe at this time in their career, they can only afford a $39.99 synthetic wig and AliExpress dress. Does the word inflation mean anything to you? I thought drag was about who you are, your talents, not about what you have. Or is that just what y'all say to get fans on your way to the money and clout? In an interview with Seattle Gay Scene, Shea states, "I would say the influence I would like to have on the queer community will be to inspire people, specifically queer POC, to feel comfortable in themselves and their identities, to understand that they're special, they're amazing, and that anything they want or dream about, you deserve it." I guess that goes out of the window if people critique you about your outfit from a TV show. That's the struggle I have with Shea. One minute she's acting as an activist for queer POC, and another minute she's making shady comments about what people can and can't afford. If you're truly about that life when it comes to activism, you would understand shaming people, especially other queer people, for what they can and can't afford can easily come off as classist and elitist. That's the gag. People need to be of a certain caliber to critique you, but not to book you or buy your merch. People can be of any caliber when they're praising you, but must meet this certain level when critiquing you. This tweet irked me. Shea chose to go back to All-Stars for a second time, her third time on the show overall, as a way to reintroduce herself to Drag Race fans and benefit from the additional exposure. She chose to participate in Drag Race for a third time, knowing that being on the show would come with criticism from fans. However, instead of focusing on the massive benefits that came with appearing on the heavily promoted season, she decided to shade fans for giving their thoughts on a show they love. The Queens of All-Star 7 got one of the biggest press tours Drag Race contestants have ever seen, on top of a non-elimination season. The show didn't even even include negative critiques of them on the final cut of the show seen by the fans. So it's weird to me that Shea would actively seek out critiques from reviewers just to get upset by them. It reminds me of Normani quoting tweets that didn't tag her to clap back at them. Why do some public figures spend so much time trying to clap back at criticism when they have an abundance of love coming their way? Let's not forget the reason why queens like Shea are able to raise their booking fees after appearing on the show is because fans like the one Shea is shading are going out to see her when she visits her city. I'm not saying Shea can't speak freely about her frustrations because her ability to make a living is on some levels linked to fan engagement. The talent she displayed on Drag Race opened the door for fans to fall in love with her in the first place. But I want her to understand something. The reason why the Drag Race ecosystem works is because a lot of fans show up in numbers to support queens each season. So it's a slap in the face to fans every time a queen says something condescending, shaming fans, especially fellow queens. I feel it hurts so much when queens make catty statements because of the way that Drag Race constructs narratives of queer trauma and healing on the show. When you see a queen on the show, they're often sharing experiences about being alienated and ostracized for being queer and or trans. A common narrative is that drag helped queens to come to terms with their LGBT plus identity and express themselves. Drag saved them. It's also commonly a way they're able to find community in a chosen family after being ostracized for being different. I and other viewers attach to queens not only for their talent, but because they have similar negative experiences related to their LGBT plus identities. However, once they win or place well, get some followers, some clout, and some nice checks, some queens take any chance they can to make digs at fans. The same fans who got their follower count to where it is showed up to their appearances, bought their merch, and showed up to support them at DragCon. It's giving bait and switch at this point. Cry about your trauma related to your sexuality and or gender identity, or regurgitate commonly expressed narratives of LGBT plus trauma on your season. Slay some challenges. Win or place well. Finally, let the fans know how you really feel about them after benefiting from their support. One passive-aggressive tweet at a time, showing us just how little you think of us. When you needed our support to be put on, we were your everything. But now that you've made it, we're just some annoying fags you're better than. The tweet came off as tone-deaf, as the overwhelming majority of drag performers do not make comparable income to her for their drag, if they make any income for their drag at all. Nor do they have the same access to opportunities that she has as a well-received Drag Race winner and alum. Let's not forget that out queer and trans people, especially out queer and trans people of color, who represent a lot of the content creators discussing Drag Race, can face many challenges when it comes to finding employment and climbing the corporate ladder in the world we live in. Of course, Shea, as a Black, gay, assigned male at birth, non-binary person, also faces these challenges in her own ways, but as a winner of a very popular LGBT plus franchise, she's been granted many privileges that other queer people don't have. It's so easy for her to shame people for wearing more affordable items after benefiting financially from being on one of the biggest platforms for drag performers, not only in the US, but the world for her third time. Some fans have tried to explain away Shea's tweet by stating she wasn't reading them for their budget, but more so their presentation. However, I disagree with this claim. She doesn't read the presentation of the wigs, she critiques the price point. She uses AliExpress and Knockoff as descriptors alongside the $39.99 price point to imply that the queens critiquing her are beneath her because of the fact that they are wearing more affordable items. While I love Drag Race, I feel the massive success of some queens makes them feel above non-Drag Race queens, even though many of them began their drag careers performing in local bars. It seems some queens also act like they're better than the general fans, even though the engagement of general fans of the show collectively keeps the show and drag queens from the show relevant. So that's what I have to say on this situation. I appreciate Shea Couleé's drag, but I'm just over this snarkiness from some of the Drag Race queens where they get on the show and they share all this trauma and they make themselves relatable to people who are watching the show. But the second that we buy into them and support them and give them all this love and they're able to benefit from that financially in terms of their career, they turn on us and they sit here and act like they're better than us and we're beneath them, even though we helped them to get to where they are. So let me know how y'all feel. Thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Love y'all. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. Like this video if you like this video. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the points I made in the comments below. If you enjoyed this content, definitely like, comment, subscribe, and share. That way, even if YouTube isn't pushing my content, those who resonate with it are sharing it so it can connect with others who would enjoy it. Those are some easy, free ways to support a pop of culture. If you want to support the show financially, feel free to send a tip to my Cash App or buy me a cup of coffee, both linked below. All who donate will be featured in the credits of my long-form commentary and cover videos. There are 2 playlists that are going to pop up, one where you can binge watch my covers and one where you can binge watch my commentary. Enjoy. Bye-bye.